I'm Katrina, and this is Sew and Tare. Today we're going to be making something with rabbit. So I got 4 hind legs. This is how we package them. Is all like parts together so they can have even cooking time. We have 4 hind legs that I'm going to make something with. So I don't have a name for it because it's not a recipe except for in my head. I'm going to try it and I hope it's good. It sounds good in my head. So follow along and we will have some rabbit. I'm also wearing a t-shirt today, blood donor. I donated blood this past week, and so I want to encourage you guys to donate blood because it is a really good idea. People need it every day. So on to the meal. So here are some of our ingredients. We have the back legs of the rabbits. You can use chicken in this recipe too, so this would be the same as a bone-in chicken. Because it tastes exactly like chicken pretty much. So we have that. We have culinary sage, and these have been washed. And next we have, you guys might think this is thyme, but it's not. This is winter savory. So it is a really good, it's a really good little plant to have. And then this is marjoram, which is related to oregano. So those are our main spices from the garden today. And then I also have some chicken stock. I'm not sure if I'm going to use 1 or 2. And then these are from a couple years ago. But these are cherry tomatoes that I dehydrated. And I found out I don't really like them. I don't really like to eat them dehydrated like this. I like to eat them once they're a little plumped up. So like if you're making eggs and you can have some time to plump them up before, it's really good in eggs. And it's good in a lot of things, but I prefer them once they're plumped up again. But some people would like them just like that. And that's a volunteer tomato. So let's get started. So when I cook with my cast iron, I generally use a medium heat. Now I have gas. I have gas range, so my stuff is going to heat up faster than an electric range. But it's also going to be able to control it better on a gas range. So I say medium, but use your own stove. You'll get to know it. So we're gonna let this heat up a little bit. Now these rabbit legs have been rinsed off and dried. And we're just going to sear that just a little bit on both sides. Alright, so these are a little more cooked on the outside. It could go longer, but I'm not going to do it. So that looks pretty good to me. I'm going to put it over on a plate. And I am going to make a roux. What's a roux? Roux, you have butter and flour basically. But I'm going to do something with the butter first before the flour gets involved. Oh, I did not mean that. Okay, turn it down a little bit. And we are going to add sage, which is a very awesome to add. Sage fried in butter is the best. I do need to turn it down more. In this household, we call these dessert leaves. Well, I do. Apparently, my range is a little angled. You can already start to smell this lovely, lovely aroma. Look at that. So the butter is going to start to brown, and these will get a little crispy, and they're nice little treats. Then we'll fish them out and use the butter. Alright, these leaves I think are done. Guess I can unzoom you guys now. So you can take this too far and it will burn the butter. So that's why I was messing with the heat. Might take you a couple times to get this part right. So now what we've basically done is we have infused the butter with the sage flavors. So we're going to expand on that, and I'll teach you guys how to make a roux. So I told you a roux is butter and flour. We just added a little bit of extra flavor with the other stuff. So when you make a roux, you want to add the flour very slowly and make sure it gets mixed in pretty good before you add more. And why would you make a roux? A roux is going to add depth of flavor, but it's also going to make it more of a gravy. If you want it thick, guys, this smells so good. If you want a thick sauce, that's why you would make a roux. All right, so you continue to do this, and what you want is you want the flour to cook. So it's not going to taste floury. It's going to taste just thick like a gravy. And if you wanted to make a gravy, then, you know, this would be, you could add this to chicken stock or whatever and make a gravy. But I'm going to make just a thick sauce, so mine will be a little different. But what this does is it helps incorporate the other ingredients. So like if you're adding cheese or something, this would make it go in better. Like if you've ever tried to make homemade macaroni and cheese, it's a tricky process if you don't know about roux. So this smells amazing. Give it a little bit hotter. Oops. Alright, so that's a roux. You can make it thicker, you can make it thinner. Kind of depends what you want to do with it. But right now, what I would like to do is open a jar. I use this jar opener. I have a link in the description if you are interested in getting one. And, oops. Open that up, and I put some in because this is getting hot. And you add this very slowly because it's going to do that. And you want to basically reincorporate the thickness back into this, which it doesn't work very well if you do it all at once. You could do it probably faster than I'm doing it now, but I like to do the slow route. You may have cooked it a little too long, but that's okay. Look how brown that is from the butter. You could use milk or cream with this too instead of chicken broth, chicken stock. This is chicken bone broth. You see how creamy that is? So at this point, all of the flour has been incorporated. It's you know, suspended now. So at this point, you can pour in more. I'm going to pour in. I'll just do the whole thing. Alright, I'm going to pour that in. And I'm going to be adding some spices. So, you already know about my herbs, but that's going to be later. I'm going to be adding some black pepper. I believe I already seasoned the chicken stock, so I'm not going to include any more on that. I like black pepper. I'll add some garlic powder. I really should have done the garlic cloves, but it's kind of late for that. So we're going to add some garlic powder. Mix that all up. gonna taste this off the fork. I know it's gonna be hot. I think it's okay. I think I could have done more sage, but I think it's okay. So now I'm going to be using some of these cherry tomatoes. These stay fresh because they've been vacuum sealed. Maybe I'll put a card up of the vacuum sealing video I have, so you guys can be familiar with that. All right. That looks like enough, and that will give additional flavor to the broth. Here's marjoram. Here's a quick and dirty way to do marjoram. Hold at the top. Well, that's not supposed to happen. And pull. You can get all the leaves. On the top, I just hold this part and then get the leaves there. Next, I use some herb scissors. I'll put a link to these in the description as well. It's just multiple scissors that cut it at once. It's pretty cool. So you don't have to chop them all. And it comes with this cover that also you use it for cleaning out the in between the scissors. And same thing with the savory. It always pops off the top there. But I'm just going to put these in as whole leaves because they're so small. Now savory is pretty powerful. So I suggest trying some, and then if you like it, putting more in. I know I like savory, so that's why it's going in my food. And these young stuff, it's completely fine if you get some stem in there. You don't want an old stem in there because that's like wood. Alright, so that is our base. It's a creamy thing. It's quite a bit of liquid. I have the oven up to 300. And we're just going to plop these right in here. Right, and maybe we'll turn them a few times. Not planning on covering it just because there's so much liquid here. Again, that was a quart of chicken broth. So now this goes in the oven. It's at 300 degrees, and I don't know how long it's going to cook. I'm going to check it in probably half an hour. So here are our leaves. I know they don't look very appetizing on camera, but trust me, they are good. And I will do a little taste test. So they should be crispy and they should be crunchy. And they are. So let me see if you guys can hear it. These are very good. Don't make it an everyday thing because there's a lot of butter in here. It's good as a treat though. Right, it has been half an hour. Let's see what this baby looks like. Smells delicious. Oh my goodness, guys. I know you can't see that. Look at that. That looks delicious. I don't know if it's done yet though. So, we're going to take an internal temp. $165, I believe, is what rabbit is supposed to. Looks like we're not quite there. I'm going to flip them just so they all get all yummy things happening to them. It smells so good, especially with those tomatoes. Ooh, that was not so great. Well, don't seem to be surprised if the fire alarm goes off. Alright, back into the oven. The timer just went off. Look at that. Those are all those tomatoes on top. Alright, let's take a temp. Alright, well, we passed our 165, but I think that's still good. And that's what it looks like out of the oven. We'll serve it up and try it. So I'm going to try it. Manuel doesn't want to try it on camera. Do you want that in there or no? No? Okay. I'm going to try it. Try the rabbit first. It's hot. A good flavor. And this is what those tomatoes turn out like. They're nice and hydrated now. They're so good. Much better than dried. And the broth, I was going to serve this over rice, so the broth was going to be over rice, but it isn't. It's very good with all those herbs. So, here's the dish. I don't know the name yet. It'll be in the title. Enjoy cooking your rabbit or chicken, because this can be a bone-in chicken recipe as well, or non-bone-in. Why not? Enjoy. So Manuel has decided to cut up his piece of rabbit, and he heated up some tortillas, some corn tortillas, and he's putting that in his soup. It's a good idea. My idea was rice, but I forgot to make the rice. And he's weird and put salsa on everything, so do what you want with it. I did end up straining some of the liquid and taking out the tomatoes, and then I used the liquid to make rice, and then we used the tomatoes on top of that with the chicken, or with the rabbit on top of it. It was really good. So that's another thing you can do with this recipe. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you liked it, go ahead and like and subscribe and share it around with someone who will enjoy it. Thank you very much and have a good day.